Hi, my name's tgtrouper. With me today is Rob Delplanque to talk about his novel Visions. So, Rob, when did you start writing?
When did I start writing? Seems a long time ago now, but it's probably not that long in the grand scheme of things. And it's a bit cliche as well. COVID. So, yeah, I think March, April 2020, I was on furlough. I got furloughed from work for about 7 weeks. And much like a lot of people out there, passion projects kicked off left, right, and centre. And for me, I think I'd always had this sort of desire to be more creative. I worked in project management for software development companies for years, which wasn't really utilising the creative part of my brain.
Yeah.
And I'd always had this desire to write a novel, but I never really thought I would. But that 7 weeks that I had off from work gave me a chance to explore it. So one day I remember it was super sunny. I was lying out on the patio on the sun lounger. My wife was working away, but I was on furlough. So I had my laptop there, and I didn't really have an idea as such, but I just thought I'd give it a go and just started writing. Words just came, and I fell in love with it and became obsessed, really. And that thing that I started writing, although I didn't have an initial idea, it evolved seemingly quite naturally and became my debut novel, She's Not the Only One. It obviously went through a lot of drafts on the way, but yeah, that's when I started. Yeah, like 6 years ago.
Yeah, cool. What genres do you write in?
A bit of a mix, but they're always under the umbrella of thriller or psychological thriller. So I've done a novella, which is a dystopian sci-fi thriller, a psychological crime thriller, a psychological thriller with a bit of a supernatural edge, which maybe I'll mention a bit later. And this one, Visions, which is another psychological crime thriller, but it's also got a bit of a supernatural edge to it as well. So it's always under the thriller umbrella, but I do veer.
So what is your writing process?
Writing process, first and foremost, I don't plot. I never plot. I always think that, and I don't want to disrespect anybody that does plot, but I think that takes some of the magic out of the whole process for me. I start with a small kernel of an idea, something that won't leave me alone. I'll ruminate on that basic situation for a while. And if it's still there a few weeks later, I think, right, that's what I'm going to focus on. And I'll just get to work. And the situation might be just, I've got an idea for a character and he's facing this predicament. Just something as simple as that. And then I'll go off on it. And I try and hold myself to account to write 1,000 words a day. And as long as I hit that limit, I'm happy. And not every day, not 7 days a week necessarily, but typically around 5 days a week. And I'll sit in a cafe or something. That's usually my place of worship, so to speak. And I'll write my 1,000 words, listen to some ambient music while I'm doing it. And when I finish writing for the day, one thing that's always key is I'll always make sure I know what I'm going to write about the next day, whether that's a scene or a situation or a twist or a plot point or something. It doesn't have to be very fleshed out in my head, but enough that I've got something to work on. And it avoids writer's block, actually, which is key. And so, that's it. So, 1,000 words a day, and little by little, you realise that you're edging towards a finished first draft. It only takes a few months if you're on a roll. So, that's how I go about it.
So with that in mind, where do your ideas come from?
Where do my ideas come from? It varies, but and I think it's quite common that, and it's kind of frustrating as well. Some of my best ideas come when I'm in the shower. It's a time of like proper reflection. It's quiet, you're on your own, there's no distractions. And your creative brain just seems to tick along. I say it's frustrating because when I get an idea, I then worry that I'm going to forget it. So I rush to finish my shower, get out, grab my phone, jot down just a sentence or two, still with wet hands, just to make sure that it's out there and it's documented and I can come back to it later.
Yeah.
But they can come from anywhere. I think I take a lot of influence from film. I'm probably a film buff first and a reader second, I'd say, historically. And I think a lot of my ideas not necessarily lean on, but are influenced by my experience with films that I've watched over decades.
Yeah.
I do read as well, and there's a lot of influence from books that I read when I was younger, like Stephen King and Dean Koontz were big ones when I was growing up. And yeah, maybe some ideas come from those influences, but it can come from anywhere. I could just be out walking in the park. It's usually when I'm on my own, just gazing around, and something will just come to me, and I'll just jot it down. It just pops out of thin air.
Your latest release, Visions. Tell me about that.
Okay, Visions. Yeah, so it's a psychological crime thriller about a woman. The protagonist is a woman in her late 30s, early 40s. She's facing a time of quite extreme stress for her. She runs an estate agency, and it's an economic downturn, so things are really hard. And one day when she's at work, she's looking out the window and her vision sort of clouds over, and she sees a man, a very striking vision of a man standing under a streetlight, under an umbrella, and it's raining, and he's staring at her. And then she snaps out of that, and her actual sight returns, and she's just seeing the street, no man, it's not raining. And she puts it down to just a crazy head rush or stress or something, because she's just had a cigarette and she doesn't smoke ritualistically, but she slips occasionally. And then later that day, she's at home, and it's at night time, and she's looking out of her living room, curtains out onto the street beyond, and she sees that same man. But this time it's not an hallucination or a vision. He's actually there. And she shuts the curtains. She opens them again and he's gone. And then she starts to experience more of these unsettling visions or hallucinations. She's not really sure what to make of them. But they start to become darker and darker. And then she realizes that she's seeing murders actually taking place. And she's wondering whether she's sharing some sort of connection with a serial killer and seeing through their eyes, which obviously sounds ludicrous. But she can't explain it any other way. Although she then starts to doubt herself and wonders, is she actually accessing repressed memories of things she's committed and not realized? So that's the duality of it. And it's very twisty-turny. It's got a returning character from my debut novel, She's Not the Only One, the lead detective in that. They're both standalone novels, but there's that kind of coherence, if you like.
So what is unique about your writing?
Okay, so I said before that I was a film buff first and a reader second. So I think my writing leans on that a little bit. There's quite a filmic or cinematic quality to my writing. It's very fast-paced, it's very visual. And it's always got an undertone of the philosophical. So there's a philosophical thread in each of my books, because I'm fascinated by human psychology, the struggles of being human, mental health, and also where the future might take us as well. So some of my stuff leans on dystopian, where humanity might be in the future. So there's always those questions that some are answered quite clearly. Some are more left as posers for people that read my books to discuss maybe later. It's stuff leaves you with stuff to think about.
Okay. So are your books series or standalones?
Yes, I think I partly addressed that by saying there's some coherence between some of them, but they are all standalone books. They can all be read on their own. But with Visions and She's Not the Only One, there is a returning character. Although they can be read standalone, there is benefit in reading both because the character that returns for Visions is more fully fleshed out. And I have a feeling that she might be back as well. A lot of my readers of this one have actually asked, is Susan Reeves going to be making a comeback again? We need to have her back. And I hinted at it in the author's note at the back of the book that it was hard to let her go and that she might be back in the future. So I'm not committing to anything, but I have a feeling that she will come back. She's a very strong character.
Good. Advice for other writers looking to break through into the market?
Advice for other writers. Just start, I would say, first and foremost. A lot of people, I think, doubt themselves about, they might aspire to be a writer, but I think there's one thing aspiring and there's another thing actually doing it. And I think doubt and fear are the two things that prevent people actually getting started. And there's the fear of the blank page, staring back. How can I put words on this page? But you can. Just start. You don't need much of an idea. Like I said, I don't plot. I just start with a very small situational idea and I just start writing. And it's amazing where the subconscious mind can lead you. So, just get on it. Try and hold yourself accountable as well to a certain word count per day. I try and do 1,000 words a day. Maybe start off a lot smaller than that, maybe just 100 words a day, and just try and build that momentum. And before you know it, you realize that you're building yourself a writing style, you're honing your craft, you're getting better, and you're building a story where you thought there was none. I'd say also read a lot. You can learn a lot by reading. Of course, I don't think there's many authors out there that aren't readers as well. I hope there's not anyway, because I think it's good form to actually learn from your peers. So read a lot, write a lot, you'll get better. And don't expect your first work to be that special. And don't expect that you won't need to edit, you will. What else? Oh, and story. Story is number one. Story is so important. If there's anything that you're writing and it's not propelling your story forward, cut it. There's nothing more important than story and making sure that progression happens.
5 pages of character description is meaningless unless they're actually going to do something.
And even if they are, 5 pages of description is probably a bit over-egging it.
Okay. Did you try going, these are self-published, did you try going down traditional route?
I did, So my first 2 novels, so She's Not the Only One and Minds, I pitched them to agents. I think I queried 40 or 50 agents, something like that. And I got, a hell of a lot of nothing. Some, we liked it, but some not for us at this time. A lot of sort of, the usual copy and paste rejection letters. And, sometimes it was a bit disheartening because I believed in my work and I do believe in my work. But you're not going to appeal to everyone. And obviously these agents get approached by so many. And so I thought about self-publishing as well. And it was when I found out, because I had a quite naive expectation of traditional publishing. I thought that if you got an agent, then you'd get a publishing deal. Then they would throw so much resource behind you. You'd have copywriters, editors, proofreaders, PR, marketing, cover design, everything. But then I actually heard on quite good authority that authors, in most cases, have to do the lion's share, if not all, of the marketing themselves. And that was the one area that I thought I might struggle with, that would be hard to sort of break the market by focusing on self-promotion, because I wasn't really comfortable with that at first. I thought, well, if I'm going to have to do it anyway,
why pay somebody else?
Why pay somebody else to do it? Why split 15% of my royalties with an agent and have the publisher take the majority of the royalties? when instead I could have full creative control. I could publish on my own timeline, publish stuff that I definitely wanted to publish, and receive the lion's share of the royalties. So I took it upon myself to go and do that. And I'm so glad I did. I don't think I'd ever go back.
Yeah.
Even if, a traditional publisher came knocking, I'd listen, but I think I'd find it really hard to relinquish the control.
Yeah.
It's really nice to have that.
I've heard some fairly shocking horror stories about how people are treated in traditional contracts.
Really?
Yeah. So finally, where can people buy your books?
Okay, so they're all on Amazon, available in paperback and ebook. Visions, my latest, is the only one that's available in hardback, this beautiful hardback here.
Those are very nice.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, that's available ebook, sorry, paperback and hardback. 3 of my books are available as audio as well. This one isn't yet. I'm going to get somebody to work on that some point later this year. But my first novella, Echoes of Reality, is available on audio, as is my debut novel, She's Not the Only One, as is my second novel, Minds. They're also available on most online retailers. I can't name which ones, but I think, most things worldwide that distribute online, you can find them. Also on Apple Books and Kobo as well.
Can they be ordered through places like Waterstones?
Yes. Yeah, or Blackwell's, I think. I don't know if you can order directly on Waterstones. It might take you to a link to Blackwell's to order them. But you could find them on Waterstones.
T.G. Jones, people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what used to be W.H. Smith.
Yes. Yeah, I'm still getting used to that new name.
Yeah. Right. And they still sell stuff with W.H. Smith written.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, hard to lose that branding.
Yeah.
It's an institution.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rob.
Thank you, Peter. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, great.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.